Welcome to Token Clash. Today, we evaluate the ultimate ideological war in cryptocurrency, the undisputed king of default digital privacy against the network that chose optional compliance to appease regulators. First is Monero, trading today near $335, holding a massive market capitalization of roughly $6,200,000,000. Next is ZCash, currently trading near $242, holding a highly competitive market capitalization of roughly $4 billion. Our evaluation is driven strictly by a cumulative star scoring system across 9 categories. The project that aggregates the highest technical score takes the crown. Let's look at the data. Monero possesses arguably the most ideological and deeply entrenched community in the entire industry. Its holders are hardcore privacy advocates, cypherpunks, and true believers in financial anonymity who organically defend the network without a corporate marketing budget. ZCash also has a highly dedicated technical community, primarily composed of cryptographers and institutional investors, who value zero-knowledge technology. While ZCash's community is highly structured and professional, Monero commands a level of fanatical, unyielding ideological loyalty that simply cannot be bought or replicated. Monero secures 19 points. ZCash takes 16. Accessibility is where these two networks violently diverged. Monero refused to compromise its core privacy code. As a result, it faced severe regulatory crackdowns, leading to outright delistings from massive centralized gateways in several jurisdictions, forcing users toward decentralized exchanges. ZCash took a pragmatic path. By making privacy strictly optional through shielded addresses, ZCash remained compliant with regulators and is universally listed on global exchanges like Coinbase and Kraken. Because ZCash chose compliance to retain Tier 1 fiat liquidity, it secures 19 points. Monero takes 14 points. ZCash takes an early lead, 35 to 33. Token dynamics define network longevity and fairness. ZCash operates with a strict maximum supply cap of 21 million tokens, just like Bitcoin. However, it relies on a controversial founder's reward, where a percentage of the block rewards is permanently diverted to the corporate entity and developers. Monero operates entirely differently. It has no maximum supply cap and no corporate tax. Instead, it utilizes a tail emission, generating a microscopic predictable amount of inflation forever. This guarantees that miners will always have a financial incentive to secure the network. For its brilliant decentralized security economics, Monero extracts 19 points. ZCash takes 16. Monero reclaims the lead, 52 to 51. Monero is the absolute gold standard of mandatory privacy. It utilizes ring signatures, confidential transactions, and stealth addresses to completely obfuscate the sender, receiver, and amount of every single transaction on its ledger by default. ZCash utilizes zk-SNARKs, a form of zero-knowledge proofs. Mathematically, Zcash's cryptography is considered one of the most brilliant and advanced achievements in modern computer science, allowing transactions to be verified without revealing any underlying data. For pushing the absolute boundaries of their respective cryptographic fields, both networks secure a massive 19 points. The board remains tight, Monero 71, ZCash 70. When we look at network utility, we see two different worlds. Because ZCash makes privacy optional, the vast majority of its daily transactions are completely transparent, behaving just like standard Bitcoin transfers. It is utilized more as a speculative asset than a darknet currency. Monero, however, is utilized as actual functioning money. It is the undisputed default currency of private peer-to-peer commerce and individuals seeking refuge from oppressive financial surveillance globally. Because Monero achieves the purest definition of decentralized digital cash in actual real-world commerce, it secures a perfect 20 points. ZCash takes 16. Monero extends its lead, 91 to 86. Leadership and development structures are diametrically opposed. Monero is maintained by a heavily decentralized, often pseudonymous group of global contributors funded purely by community donations. There is no corporate entity or central leader pulling the strings. ZCash is backed by the Electric Coin Company and the ZCash Foundation, highly professional corporate entities that have employed some of the smartest academic minds in the world. This is the battle of the decentralized underground against the corporate laboratory. Both models have executed their visions flawlessly. Monero secures 19 points, ZCash takes 18 points, Monero leads 110 to 104. Zcash mining is dominated by massive industrial scale mining farms because the network allows application specific integrated circuits, or ASICs. The physical hardware securing the network is highly centralized among massive corporations. Monero was built from the ground up to violently resist this centralization. It uses the RandomX mining algorithm, which specifically blocks industrial ASIC mining farms, allowing absolutely anyone with a standard computer processor to competitively mine the network from their bedroom. For delivering an absolutely decentralized consensus model that empowers regular computer users, Monero earns a perfect 20 points. Zcash takes 15. The gap widens. Monero 130, Zcash 119. The future narrative dictates capital flows. Monero's narrative is under constant attack by governments. Yet, its necessity grows exponentially as nations increase financial surveillance and freeze bank accounts. Zcash is aggressively pursuing the narrative of compliant privacy, attempting to bridge the gap between institutional money and zero-knowledge technology. Furthermore, Zcash has openly discussed transitioning to proof of stake, a narrative that attracts environmentally conscious institutional capital. For capturing a narrative that embraces regulatory approval and massive institutional growth, Zcash secures 19 points. Monero takes 18 for its undeniable necessity. Monero 148, Zcash 138. Looking at historical price action, Zcash experienced absolutely massive, catastrophic drawdowns in previous cycles, largely driven by the continuous sell pressure from its developer tax and heavy mining dilution, though it is currently staging a magnificent recovery. Monero is the ultimate survivor. While it rarely prints the insane speculative multipliers of volatile assets, it acts as a digital safe haven. It demonstrates incredible resilience during brutal bear markets and steadily protects long-term purchasing power regardless of global exchange delistings. For pure historical resilience and superior store of value metrics, Monero secures 18 points against Zcash's 16 in this final round. This concludes our technical evaluation based on supply metrics, architectural design, and current market data. We have tabulated the final scores. Zcash accumulated a highly respectable 154 total points, demonstrating its status as an absolute marvel of advanced zero-knowledge cryptography and institutional compliance. However, with a final score of 166 total points, Monero takes the victory. The summary is mathematically clear. If you value a project with Tier 1 exchange liquidity, massive corporate backing, and the absolute cutting edge of zero-knowledge mathematical proofs, Zcash is a phenomenal technological achievement. But if you are looking for true, uncompromising digital cash, mandatory default privacy, and a network that absolutely refuses to bow to centralized authorities, Monero remains the mathematically superior and ideologically pure choice in today's market. Always do your own research before allocating capital. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive analysis. I will see you in the next battle.